Alrighty, welcome back everybody. On today's episode, I'm going to be taking you through this restoration of an antique writing desk. It is another customer project, and I can't wait to get started on this. So let's dive in and take a look around and see what's going on. My name's Katarina, and this is Makeover's Refinishing.
Okay, so we have a lot to do on this piece. The finish on here is really bad. Let me get a close-up of this for you. You can see how crusted it is. I can't wait to start stripping this piece to reveal what's underneath, because as it is right now, I don't know. Not sure exactly what kind of wood this is, but it's going to clean up beautifully once we start stripping it. So the drawers here, they're fine. There's another little drawer that goes inside here. Unfortunately, this is really the only way for us to get this open. Anyways, can you believe this would have been the original color? Definitely really full of, well, everything that you can think of. It's been sitting in my client's
log house for a very long time, and there's quite a history to this piece. It belongs to my customer's husband, and it was given to him by his father. So it is a very special heirloom piece for them. And I'm very excited to do this for them. He doesn't know that we are working on this piece. So this is a surprise restoration for him. This is a very beloved piece for him. To me, it's a lot. And so I really want to make sure that I do it justice. So the first thing we're going to do, I think, is just give it a quick vacuum. It is pretty crusty. It is solid wood, no veneer, but it definitely needs some love.
So this back panel is just held on by a couple of pieces of wood. This little panel here, it's more like a little kick plate, so nothing falls off the back of the desk. It's just there to prevent things from falling off the back. So this isn't in bad shape. It's still a solid piece. Got a couple of crusty pieces, but nothing too bad. I will clean that up, of course, and then get that stained up to look as pretty as the rest of the piece. Okay, so after a little bit of digging, I found out where this little drawer goes. Goes right in here. Inside right there. So I'll have to put some stops in at the back so it stops where it needs to stop. Same with all of these. They're supposed to stop flush, not all the way back there. So I'll add some drawer stops along the ridge here. And yeah, and then the door itself has a little key that will, well, it's seen better days. So we can either replace that or I can try to clean that up. It's pretty rusty, but we'll see. The veneer on the door is starting to peel away, so I'll repair that and glue it back. It's in a couple spots, just lifted. It's nothing major, but will need to be looked at. Otherwise, the door itself, the hinges are good. They swing totally fine, so we'll be able to reuse those. Okay, so this hinge, that will need to be replaced. These are usually tacked in. Huh. Look at this. Well, that was found in there. I consider that good luck for working on this piece. A receipt or a pile of something. Just some paper. So that's what we're doing with this piece. We're going to be restoring it and bringing it back to a beautiful functional writing desk again. Whether or not he uses it or he just puts it to be admired, that's entirely up to him, but it will be beautiful, and I know it will be. And I know he will be very excited to see it. So let's start with stripping some drawers. Let's do that. Okay, so with a bit of the stripping out of the way, I've done the 3 drawers. I have to do the repair on the drawer down here, or not the drawer, the door down here still. So I'll get that done very soon. But I think what I'm going to want to tackle next is all of these cobwebs. It's too much. I'm so done looking at them. Just get the garbage out of this piece and start cleaning up on the inside here. Before I start working on the door, I'm just going to take off these little stoppers because these are not great. And I will replace them with wooden ones, with blocks, which will wear much nicer over time. These just rip out the bottom of your drawers. So as the drawer guide and the drawer runner fades with age, these will start to rub on the bottom of the drawer and you'll get those indentations. So we don't want this. We don't want metal on wood. We want wood to wood. So that everything kind of wears away at the same time. Let's remove the door and we'll basically have an empty shell and a casing to work with, and then I can continue working on stripping it and cleaning it thoroughly. Alright, so the veneer on this piece has lifted on the door here. So it's not anything crazy. I'm just going to glue it back down, compress it, but it's done about the same at the top here as well. So I'll just work on that, but first I have to get this piece off. Up. That's coming off. Let me just replace this. I'll just get a new one because this one's disgusting anyways, so. Okay, so we have a couple of cracks on the side here, and to test for looseness, if you can bring the joint together or not, I'm just going to try to clamp them. And I'm looking to see if this joint here, this lamination joint, gets any smaller, and it doesn't. But what I do notice, these ones aren't moving, but this joint is over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bead of glue in here and then clamp everything together on this side, so that way everything stays nice and tight on this side. The only time I use hide glue is when I'm working with joints, because if something happens to that joint, I want to be able to take it apart and repair it again, as opposed to if I use, I can use PVA glue too, but hide glue just works better when you're working with joints overall, to take things apart. If you want a repair to stay together for forever, then you use wood glue. Use a tight bond or carpenter's glue, something that will last for a while. Okay. I'm going to work on the drawers. So one thing you definitely want to avoid when working on drawers is putting nails on the rails themselves. It's one thing, glue is enough. If you're going to be repairing a drawer rail, then glue is more than enough. You don't need to go this route with the nails, so I'm gonna have to take those out.
So what's been done is this panel has been glued in the back, and that's also not something you want to do.
Your panels at the bottoms need to be moving back and forth. They need to be able to breathe. Wood needs to be able to breathe so it can move, and so you don't want to do this. You definitely do not want to try to anchor this. All you really need is just some screws or some nails at the back of this panel so that it can breathe in and out. So what's been done here is there's been some glue added here. To fix that anyway, so what are you thinking? Okay. Oh, we're just gonna break it. And I will fix that. Okay. That's great. So I got it out in one piece at least. Didn't leave behind too much crap. A little bit of stuff. There have been a couple things that have been happening off camera just because I've been busy doing other things too. So this drawer is obviously the front was loose. The joints in here were loose. So just what I did was I used my mallet and I just hammered it down on either side to loosen up the joint. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue these back in, clamp them, and this is ready to go when it's dry. And so you may notice that I am using a hide glue here, and that is because these are considered joints. and I do not want a permanent bond with my joint. I want my joint to be able to be reversed in case something breaks. And with all things, eventually things do break. So you do want to be able to have that ability to repair it at a later date if something does snap or crack or whatever the case may be. So always make sure that you're using the right glue for your project so that way you can reverse it if you have to. Now with these, you're just going to slide it in on one side. There we go. That's a nice lot of fair bit of glue that came out, which is good. And we're going to slide it in on the other side here. Hopefully it's a bit easier to do it this way and downwards. There we go. And obviously the other side, make sure everything's tight. Good. Okay, now just going to get my clamps and this repair is done.
She was grab a shower.
Oh, okay. I said, don't stand over here. I'm filming.
They all go to my phone number.
Okay, so we are going to be working on doing a little bit of color blending. I patched the smaller, I ended up patching all of the repairs on the fronts here with some quick wood. Just found it was a little bit easier to do that and then just do some color matching at the end rather than putting the veneer on and having to deal with distinct lines and whatnot. Oh, who's this I see? Who's that? Hi, Wicklow. Hi, my puppy. Hi. You making an appearance? Can you sit? I'll give you a treat. Did I say the magic word? Do you want a treat? What can you do for me? Do you want to show off? Come here. Come here, my girl. Come. Look at what I have for you. Hey. I'm not over there. Come, look. Hi. You want to sit down? There you go. Oh, gentle. That's a good job. Say hi, everyone. My name is Wicklow. Yes, there is a bag of treats right there. And I also have treats in my pocket. Do I have a treat in my pocket? What's that? Don't jump, you silly girl, you. Oh, is that yummy? Can I have... Okay, sit. Let me get this here. Stay. Can I have a kiss? Oh, good girl. Can I have a paw? Oh, good job. Oh, double paws. Good girl. Can you say hello, everyone? Look at me. Look at the screen. Hi, look how pretty you are. Oh, you were snatching those out of my hand. You do love your treats, don't you? Okay, last 2 treats. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. All gone. All right. Back to business. So to repair this or to camouflage it, I'm just going to be using a couple of touch-up markers, furniture touch-up markers. And if you think that you're going to touch it up by using the stain color, you're not. You're going to be camouflaging it by using different colors of touch-up markers and then trying to match it along the way. So here I am. I'm going to be using some oak first in this color here. And the oak works really super great. Now you'll see here that there's a couple of sections where it's like really open and there's no distinct grain there, but then there's a little bit of a darker patch in the middle, and then there's some grain indentation in there. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to make this all one dark color. So I'm just going to follow kind of the pattern that they have here in the darker brown, and then blend it with my finger. So it's a distinct difference between the oak and the darker brown. So in that color I used a walnut, and then I'm going to be using just my brush tip markers from Mohawk. And on the other colors, I think I used Perfect Brown for this. So I'm just going to follow these lines here that are made from the wood itself, and then just blend those out. And then again here, and remember, I'm just trying to camouflage it a little bit. Okay, so now that that is done, I can start getting everything wrapped up for top coats. So that camouflage is finished. Then the other camouflage is done as well, and so that means that I can start top coating this piece. So initially I had purchased this new little escutcheon plate, but I didn't take into account that it would be too tall for this piece, for the drawer. So there's a little bit of it that sits on the edge and sits over it. So this will get saved for another project if I need one. But in the meantime, what I do have is a little bit of an escutcheon plate that sinks down into the wood. I've just used my utility knife, and I've just carved out a little bit of the wood here to the shape. And you don't want to carve out too much because it needs a bit of compression against the wood to stay inside. So I've got it cut out, and what I'm going to do is just cover that. And just tap it. Perfect. Fine. And so these escutcheons would have been placed inside the holes here to protect the key, the entrance of the hole for the key, and they're decorative as well. So yeah, that's now back in place. Much better. As you watch me finish up this project, I just wanted to say thank you to all of my current subscribers and to everyone that has been watching and supporting me along the way. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. If you're new to my channel and you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when a new video is on its way. I'm back in the shop working on lots of projects for you guys, and I can't wait to share those videos with you coming soon. And on that note, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now, everyone.